And then the first is talking about thesis. Introduce the main topic. Example, what are you explaining on the text? And then the second is the argument. Argument is meant to provide facts and evidence. Example is what facts support your explanation. You can give data or facts or both. And then the last is about reiteration. Summarize us and emphasize the important point that have been discussed or were Okay,